Good morning from Dale Hollow Campground. I hope you guys are having a great Saturday. We are camping and cruising, crafting and cruising. But I discovered last night when I got here that I had left my large container of my favorite paint brushes, including the Zen brushes to do checks with, at home. I managed to get here with everything else I needed except one of the most important things. Also didn't get here with my gold paint to do drags with. So basically I'm just going to show you what I'm going to be working on for the rest of this weekend, and then tomorrow night when we get home, maybe I'll get a chance to get on and do a live so that you can see the completed something that I've done or see me in process. So please be sure to comment when you get on here to let me know you're here. Tell me where you're watching from, and I would appreciate you sprinkling the love of this video out. As I told you all yesterday when I introduced myself, or day before yesterday on my page, I want this to be a place of encouragement and hope and comfort, and I want people to know that I'm happy to pray for them if they want to share those prayer requests, either here publicly, or you can Facebook message me, or you can send me an email at craftandcruise@gmail.com, and the "and" is spelled out. So Ronnie and I are camping at Dale Hollow Lake with the Tennessee Sunshine Travelers, which is a group we travel with, to camp, and this is my first weekend to do a live in the new rig, and so we have a lot to learn about lighting and about setup, and I'm having to do everything myself. Rodney's gone to help somebody with their rig, and so if you're on here, I can't read your comments right now, but eventually we'll get all this figured out where I can have like my computer or my iPad up here to be able to see comments, and he'll be helping me from time to time also. So first of all, I want to say thank you to those of you who read my urgent prayer request the other night for our Haitian son Romano and his beautiful wife Elmas, who just had their first baby. They are both from Haiti but living in the Dominican Republic. Romano is a pastor, and Elmas was due this month, like most any time. But day before yesterday, when she went to the doctor said she did not have enough fluid to continue carrying the baby, and that they needed to do a cesarean section quickly. So Romano asked, was there going to be any issue or problem with her insurance that he signed her up for last August, or any financial issues at all, and they said no. However, when the doctor came in to actually perform the C-section, she informed them that she would not be able to do that because the insurance will not be in effect for 1 year until August 1st. And so he had a choice of paying cash, $2,000 US dollars, right then on the spot, and she could perform the C-section, or he'd have to go to a public hospital. Of course, they're first-time parents. Romano was not allowed to stay in the room with her. She doesn't speak a lot of Spanish. She speaks Creole and French. And so I started contacting his supporters from the U.S. and also just some of you guys who are prayer warriors to say, please pray that this gets worked out. We even were trying to get the money wired to him that night because they said they had to have cash on hand, like on the spot. So unfortunately, the banks were closed. Western Union was closed. We couldn't Zoom him the money. I mean, it was just a very frightening time for them and for all of us here, and not being able to be there and help. So he had to take her to a public hospital. I've been to the public hospital in the Dominican Republic. It's not a place you want to spend any time if you don't have to. I'm sure they do the best they can, but it's hot. when I was there with him one time, I don't remember there being any air conditioning. There's a lot of people there for lots of reasons. So they did perform the C-section. The baby is fine. It's a boy, almost 7 pounds, and he's precious. But this morning was the first time that Romano got to see or hold his baby. The only people that could be there were one person from the family, and it had to be a female, which of course was the mom. So I don't know when she'll be released. I'm sure he's loving all over the baby right now and her. That was a tough situation to be in. So all that to say that living in the USA, we have a lot to be thankful for and proud of. Yes, we have a whole lot of problems in our country right now, a whole lot. And that's a whole nother life for me. I won't get off on my soapbox except to say that I feel like America, as a rule, is a very godless nation. And until and unless we return back to God and our founding fathers' roots that they laid, we are going to continue to be going through a lot. Hey, Jeanette. And I believe we are receiving God's judgment now, and I don't think that's going to stop until and unless we change who we are. So I hope you'll make it a goal to just speak kindness and love and blessing and encouragement to everyone you see. Just remember that everyone you come in contact with has a story. You won't know it, but every one of us has a story. And so we need compassion, and we need patience and tenderness and peace. So let me show you a couple of things. Since I don't have my good paintbrushes, I can't do a lot. But some of you have not seen the glue caddy that Rodney has made, and so here it is. I had him base coat one for me last night so that I can try to work on it today or maybe tonight. This is how we ship them out. So if you're interested in one and you haven't ordered one, they're $29 plus shipping. And if you want one, you can PM me or email me and your email address and your mailing address so I can determine shipping, and then I can let you know how much it will be. And currently I accept PayPal and Venmo. So the glue gun sits in here. All of them come with a round disc, a tile, ceramic tile that goes here, usually either black, gray, or white, or kind of a marbledy color. We don't attach it in there, so if you want to paint or decorate your caddy, you can, but then you would want to glue that down. And then as the glue heats up and spills down or drips down, it drips on that ceramic disc right there. And then these two compartments are for your glue sticks. And I don't think he has it in this one, but most of the ones we send out, he puts a little wedge in one side so that if you have small glue sticks, you can put them in here and they won't fall down on either side. I don't know which, it changes. And then large glue sticks on the other side so that you've got your sticks there. And then when you have your glue gun in your caddy, then if it has a cord, you can wrap the cord right around this back part, and makes it easy to travel with. Not very cumbersome, but it's great. So I've had a few people send me photos of how they've decorated theirs. I actually did one and sent to Debbie Rigg with Studio MDAZ. If you're not following her, please do. Hey, Kimberly. Love you, sister. And she was actually the one that came up with this idea. Her stepfather had made one for her that was much larger, but he's not able to do that anymore. And so she wanted to know if anyone wanted to try to design one. And so my engineer husband that we call MacGyver came up with this concept. And so we've sent several out so far, and people seem to really be enjoying them. Kimberly's on here, and she's already decorated hers and sent me pictures, and I loved it. So I guess I need to do one for myself now, since I sent the one that I did to Debbie. So anyway, that's the glue caddy. Then I'm going to move my phone over here a little bit. I was going to do this today live for you guys. For those of you all are crafters, this is nothing new. I went to Goodwill and I got, oops, I forgot to turn on Do Not Disturb. I got a tissue holder. It was just a silver metal like it is inside, and I base coated it. And then what I'm going to do, not while I'm on live because I don't have all the supplies, but I have torn apart or cut apart pieces of a decoupage paper. I think I got this from the decoupage queen, but I'm not sure. And I will decoupage all 4 sides with this, some of this paper. It's actually named, this paper's named, I think, after Kathy at Royal Funky Junk. And if you're not following her, please do. She's another mentor of mine. RoyalFunkyJunque. Royal Funky Junk. So I have the 4 pieces I've already measured and cut out, and I will decoupage them on, and then I'll do another piece on the top, and then I will bling it out. I'm sure I will probably put a crown on this butterfly with some bling. I will put a crown on the bee, and then I might use some Robert Stanley bling ribbon to go down the seams and around the top. It'll be, you'll still be able to use it. In fact, I have one that I did. Let me grab it. This is one I showed the other day that I did in the Mackenzie Childs style black and white check. And again, it's just, this one was ceramic. I painted it white on the outside. I measured off my checks and did checks all the way around, and this stays in our rig. So I'm going to do some more of these and give them as gifts, and eventually try to sell some. So what I'm going to show you just a little bit of today, but I'm not going to do a lot of it because, again, I don't have my Zen brushes, is something that I'm working on when I go to Oklahoma City for the Sparkle event, Sparkle Retreat in October. My roommate Kimberly's on here. She's going to go, and we will be rooming together. And part of what we're going to do there is have a costume party, a costume ball. The last night we're there. So I'm not going to tell you who I'm dressing up as. You'll have to wait and see pictures. But part of my costume I'm ordering, and part I'm making. Hey, Paula. I'm so glad to see you. So this purse is going to be a part of my costume. And you'll see that I have already measured off on both sides for the black and white check. However, it's not just going to be black and white check. It's also going to have decoupage on here, and I've already laid it out and traced around it so I'll know where to put it. This portion of a Mackenzie Childs napkin on this side. Now on the other side, I will either do a duplicate of that, or I will use this blue flower with some of the extra around it to do on the other side. Thank you, Kim. So to do the black and white checks, Debbie taught us, Debbie with Studio MDAZ, suggested that we get brushes that are short, fat, flat, and firm. In other words, when you put your brush down and do this, it doesn't need to bend like this one does. It needs to be firm. So that when you put your paint on your check, you can offload the excess here, and then you can go to one corner and pull straight down, start in the corner and go straight across, and make your checks so that they're touching each other and they're perfectly shaped. They're not going to be perfect. Let's say perfectly imperfect. Now, the first thing I did with this purse, which was black on the outside, was I base coated it in a white chalk paint. And I might leave the closure, I might change it. It's got a bling closure on it, so I might just leave that. So then I marked off my lines, and I laid my decoupage piece up here and traced around it lightly with the pencil so I'll know where it goes, because I don't want any black checks under that, or it will show through this paper. When you decoupage with napkins, you have to remove all the extra plies, so it's very thin and it's almost sheer. So if I had black under here, it would show through. So I wanted to sketch out, to trace around where I was going to have my decoupage piece laying, so that I'll be sure not to put any checks or drags or anything underneath that. Then normally I would use the gold that from Folk Art that Debbie recommends. I didn't have that with me, so for this drag I just used this is Golden Ochre from Folk Art. I used this and the Lamp Black from Deco Art Americana, and a little bit of white. And what you do is you dip your paintbrush. Let me get a little gold out here. Again, most of you have done this, but if you haven't, I'm going to show you. The brush is terrible that I'm using, so we can't expect a lot out of it. But what you do is you take your brush, not the one you're going to use for the checks, but the one to do the drag, and you take it and you dip it, one side of it, down in the gold real well. Then you flip it and you barely tap it in the black, and then you rub it on your plate to see what you've got, because you want those colors to meld together. You don't want there to be a real harsh line. And then on your plate you just bring it down before you then go over to your lines, and you just randomly do the vertical lines. Just do a stripe. You can see where this one right here has the check went over it. That's what you want. This is a little green for me because of the Golden Ochre. I don't like it, so I did go back last night when I did those drags and added a little bit of white to my brush just on the tip, and then went down and made it lighten up. And everywhere I didn't like it, I just went back and added some more Golden Ochre till I got it like I liked it. So I don't like this color. I'm not going to do the other side until I can get home and get the gold. But that's how we do the drag. So you first base coat it. I used Waverly. This is actually plaster, but I used white chalk paint that I get from Walmart. Then I divided my lines, and you start in the center and you make just a cross, and then you lay down your straight edge or ruler or whatever you're going to use on that center line, and you go one direction straight down, and then you go the other direction straight down, and then you go horizontally. The key is you need an even number of checks. If you don't have an even number of checks, it's gonna kind of mess you up. And then once you get your checks drawn on here, you take a pencil and you just go through to every other one, every other check, and you just make a mark like this. You will know then that those are the ones you're going to paint black, so the marks aren't going to show because you're going to cover them with black. The other ones will remain white. Then once I get through with that and they have all dried, then I will do a white drag, dry brush drag through the black, just like I did on here. It just gives it depth and dimension. Now after I did this one, the black, and then did the drags with the dry brush, I took an antique wax by Behr, B-E-H-R, that you get at Home Depot, and I waxed over all of it and then wiped it back off so that these would not be so stark white like these are. I like it looking more vintage. So I probably will do that on this bag too, but I will not do it until I get the stripes, the drags on there. then I'll go over it. So then you do your black checks. Then as soon as I get, since I've drawn my outline here on this, hey Deb, I've drawn my outline of where my napkin goes, I'll know that nothing in here gets painted. So I can even go through and erase these lines in here so that there won't even be pencil marks. Then I will take my decoupage piece, I'll put it up here, I'll decoupage it down, and then I'll go back and see where I need to touch up, if I need to touch up anywhere with my black squares. If there's any pencil marks left, I will erase those pencil marks before I put any kind of finish on this, and I will put a top coat on it. Probably a mixture that I have here in this bottle. It's 3 parts triple thick to 1 part Duraclear, and it's very pretty and very shiny. So I probably will, once I get the purse all painted on both sides, then I will go back and put the shiny coat on it. I'm sure I will bling it up. I will probably go around it with some stickles, which you can get from Amazon in all colors. This is black. I usually use mercury glass. I've used it on almost every project I've done. It's a glitter glue, but it's really the best there is. But then I'll probably take some little bling pieces and put in the middles of the flowers, you know, just because first of all it's going to go with my costume and who I'm going to be, but it'll just bling it up. I might even put some bling, Robert Stanley bling trim right around here. I'll paint the handle, probably gold, not sure, but probably. If I do that, then I'll probably try to paint this piece gold as well. I'll leave the bling in there, but I'll try to paint this piece gold, and that will be the rest of my costume. I'm going to try to show you how I do the check, even though I do not have my good brush. I have this little cheap brush. It's a 448, whatever that means, and it's by Princeton. It's a number 6. It's called a chisel blender, and actually what I used to use this for was when I was doing watercolor and I wanted to get something off that I didn't like it. I would dip it in water and then just rub where I wanted to take the paint off, and it would just take it right off. So it's kind of like an eraser. Kimberly, I did not fussy cut it. I actually just cut all the way around it with a lot of extra room, and then I took a paintbrush, because I didn't have my water brush with me. I took a paintbrush, dipped it in water. So like if I was going to use this one, then I would just take the paintbrush. You know how to do this because we've done it. Dip it in water around here and around here, and then pull the paper off. It's very thin, so it's going to come off very easily, and it's going to give you these rough edges. And then I went back in and removed as much of the extra black as I could, but it doesn't bother me that there's some black on there. I may even go through and deliberately outline it in black. I don't know. You know, basically with things like this, you know yourself, you just have to let them speak to you, tell you what they want you to do or what they want you to be, and you know all that. So I'm gonna get this brush wet. I'm gonna dip it in my black paint really well. I don't know how well y'all are gonna be able to see this. I'm gonna go up here to this top one. Oops, no, you can't see. Let me see if I can turn it a little bit. Okay. Go up here to this top one, and I'm gonna offload. That means get the extra off in the middle. Then I'm gonna start at this corner, and I'm gonna pull straight down close to this bottom line. I'm gonna turn it, start in this corner over here and go straight across. I'm gonna turn it, start in this corner and come straight up, turn it, come to this corner and come straight across. Now I got out of lines a little bit. That's okay. It's perfectly imperfect. All I have to do when it dries is paint over that in white, or just make this a little bit bigger square. And then I'll go back under the edge right here and make sure that the edge is touched up. You can go back always and make it smaller with white paint. If you need to make something bigger, you can. But you remember, you're gonna go every other one. So now I'm gonna come down here to this one. This one's a little harder to see my line because the drag is over it. So I'm gonna start with it because I can barely see it, and I'm gonna come straight down. I'm gonna turn it and go to this corner and come straight across. You can see that's not perfect, so let me do it again. Turn it, start down in this corner and come up to meet the middle, and then I'll just go straight across here. Turn it over, check it out. Pretty good. It didn't quite touch the corner over here of the one next to it, and you do want your corners touching. So I'll just go back and add a little more there. And then it wasn't touching this one down here, so I'll go a little bit across here. My hands are shaking trying to hold this at an angle, and that's good enough. Then I'm going to show you, since the other ones I did last night are already dry, I'm going to show you how I do the drag. Let me see if I can get a different brush that I had. Okay, I'll use the one I was using earlier. Let me wipe it off real good. It's got the gold on it where I was showing you how to do the first drag. Kimberly, what does she call... well, I'm not driving, I'm parked. What does she call it? She calls it a drag at the end, but what does she call it when we do the first drag? I don't think she calls it a drag, does she? What does she call it? No, Deb, we're not rolling. We're parked at Dale Hollow. No, I wouldn't be doing... Well, actually, you know what? I have done checks driving down the road, but I was sitting in the front seat of the car and had a board Rodney made me on my lap, and yes, I had already marked them off, and I went down the road painting. So I've got this brush. Again, it's not the best one. I'm going to get white paint on it. I'm going to wipe most of the white paint off because I want it to be pretty much a dry brush technique. Then I'm going to do this one right here. You want to start in the white above it. Oh, shoot. I keep forgetting y'all are. Get you a little closer. Okay. You want to start in the white above it. Choose either the left or the right side and be consistent the whole piece. Start at the top in the white, and then just take your brush and go straight down and make a little drag. Straight down. Make a little drag. Straight down. See how dry my brush is? I'm starting in the white and coming straight down, starting in the white, straight down, starting in the white, straight down. If I need to go back and touch up with more black, I can. Can't do those other two because I just painted them black and it'll smear. But now you see it's got some dimension and depth to it. Instead of just being a black square like this, it's got a little dimension there. See? So I think that once I get all of that done and get my piece decoupaged on here with Mod Podge, let me lay it out and show y'all if I can see how I specifically went around it. I can't really tell exactly. I think it was kind of like this. So I get the rest of the black and white done over here, up here, a little bit down here. I'll flip it over. I'll either use the same flower or I might use the blue flower from the same napkin on the back. I'll do some of the checks too, and then put this flower on. Then I will go over it with a wax first to make sure that it kind of dulls it down to look more like this, more antique-y. Then I will paint the handle. I'll probably paint all the way around the edge here. May paint this gold if I use gold here and on the handle. And then I will use some of the Robert Stanley bling like I have on this bag I made. This gold bling right here. I'll probably put just a couple of rows, maybe just one row of the gold bling all the way around the top. And then I'll have my bag ready for the costume party, and I'll be ready to go. Hey, Deborah. So I wish I could sit here and do the whole thing for you, but because I don't have the right brushes, I don't want to mess it up and have to redo it. I still can't believe I got here with pretty much everything and even extra that I didn't need, and didn't get here with my container of good brushes, but oh well. So anyhow, I'm going to be working on the glue gun caddy, the purse, oops I said that word, hope Facebook doesn't knock me off, and the tissue holder that I'm going to use these pieces of collage papers on. And of course I'll bling it out, and I'll put a crown on this butterfly, and I'll put a crown on the bee, and I'll be good to go. So I don't know how much time I'm going to get to work on all that, because this afternoon about 2, some of us are going to drive into Livingston, Tennessee. There's Amish community there, and a lot of cute little shops. We went shopping yesterday, y'all. I got some really cute things. I got some cute clothes, and I got 2 or 3 things to craft with. And I understand in Livingston there's some really cute places too. So some of us girls are going to leave early for dinner and go there, and then we're going to meet the rest of the group. We have reservations at a place called the Steel Coop, I think, in Livingston for dinner. And then we'll come back home. Depending on what time we get back, we might play some games. If not, we'll come back up here, and I'll probably try to work on one of these projects while I have some time. Then tomorrow morning we will get up and have breakfast with the group, and have a devotional, and then pack the rig up and leave. So I may be on later tonight to show y'all what I'm doing. If I do get to craft, I may not. But if not, we should be home. It's about a 2.5 hour drive, so we should be home at a reasonable time tomorrow. And if we get everything unloaded and I can come online, I will. If not, then I definitely will try to come on Monday. So thanks for coming on and watching. Remember, if you need to send me any prayer requests, you can do that through Messenger or email me at craftandcruise@gmail.com. Not the and sign spelled out A-N-D. It's my privilege and my honor to pray for you. I feel like there's not near enough of that going on, and I really do love to pray, and I love to pray for people and watch God work. So please feel free to send me any requests. I hope you have a great Saturday, a fabulous Sunday, and go out and smile and make somebody's day. Talk to you later. Bye.